This short video is about Semantic Records Management. I will give an example of an application which is built on top of PoolParty Semantic Suite and which is embedded into Atlassian Confluence. So Semantic Records Management is a type of application based on Semantic Web Standards which supports a better data acquisition when using semi-structured data, typically forms based data gathering, and a corresponding search interface which helps to search over the stored information in a very precise way by, for instance, using faceted search. So this application, as you can see it here, is embedded into Atlassian Confluence, as I've said. And in that little example, we collect news as an example for structured or semi-structured data. So by clicking on the button Create, you can see here, you can create your own, as they're called with Confluence, blueprints. And we've created such a blueprint called the News Collections Blueprint. As a next step, you can see here the structure of such a record. So most of these fields are connected to a controlled vocabulary. And the controlled vocabulary, which runs in the background, is maintained within the PoolParty Thesaurus server. So I'm going to log into the corresponding Thesaurus server and load the corresponding project, which is called the News Collector. So the News Collector, you can see here, consists of four main categories. For instance, geography, people and organizations. So if you click on organizations, you see companies and extra European organizations, and so on and so forth. You can find sources, for instance, online news, several sources you can collect news from, and topics, which is of course one of the main parts of this controlled vocabulary. From here, you can gather the corresponding metadata to describe your news you collect from online sources. So let's do an example. I go to one of the news sites, The Guardian, for instance, and now we'll collect the data about this nuclear deal reached in Vienna. Okay, so I just copy and paste the data from here and put it as a title. So the source I just used was The Guardian, and here you already see the autocomplete functionality. So it really helps you to fetch the appropriate metadata. As a region, I could put here Iran. As an organization, the IAEA, which is the International Atomic Energy Agency, and as you can see here, of course, also synonyms are recognized correctly, and therefore you can use whatever, let's say, metadata you would like to, or whatever annotation you would like to use for this corresponding organization. Every name is stored in the corresponding controlled vocabulary. You can take a look on that. So if I type in here, you can see here the synonym. So we go back to topics. Maybe I can put here nuclear policy, maybe nuclear safety. Yeah, and as a URL, that's the corresponding original source. So here you can imagine you could put any kind of content asset. It could be a video, it could be a health record, it could be any type of content, a document. Okay, now I create that. And as a result, it will be put into the underlying search index. And from now on, I can search over the existing or the new data I just added. So here you see that's the new news I just added, and here on the right hand side you see the facets, so I can drill down to, for instance, energy, and you see here's still this Iran nuclear deal, although I haven't tagged it or categorized it with energy. The reason is I used one of the subcategories here, as you can see. For instance, nuclear safety was the topic I've chosen to categorize this new news. And since it's in the hierarchy and part of the hierarchy of the energy category, it's now categorized as such. Of course, I can search up here, I get an autocomplete, so there is nothing with energy and grease. I have to delete the second filter, so here all the news around grease. I can click on more like this, for instance, and get similar stuff, which is very helpful when I do a collection of or a research over a certain domain or topic. I can export the results into a Word document if I want. So I can do that here. So therefore I can easily create a report I can print out and or go, if I go to a conference or have a discussion, I can put that together in my Word document if I like. And last but not least, of course, the question comes up, what happens if I want to use an annotation which is not in my controlled vocabulary yet? So let's create a new item. So I go back to the Guardian and go and get something new. Maybe this sad news here. Again, the Guardian. I put here Iraq as a region. And as a topic, maybe I put here Iraq conflict. And it's not in the system yet, so therefore I can suggest it as a new concept. I save that and store the record. And what happens now, it's going to be stored instantly, but of course the topic is not categorized yet. So therefore I have to go back to my vocabulary management environment. And here in the dashboard view, I see draft concepts and other workflow-oriented stuff. I also see the suggested concept. And exactly here, I can find Iraq conflict I just added. And now I can put it into the hierarchy. So, for instance, I could put it here as an international conflict or an ethnic conflict as a narrow concept and add it to the system. And if I now recalculate or rearrange the facets and the search and the annotations, I've now put the Iraq war as an ethnic conflict into the system, which should be instantly reflected here in the search interface. So if I'm now going to look for Iraq, I also find the Iraq conflict, of course. And again, here is still a filter set, and you can see here it's already in the hierarchy down here: public safety, political violence, civil war, ethnic conflict. So it's down here in the whole hierarchy. So that's the ultimate, let's say, learning loop you have to add to such a system. Should be well integrated into the workflows, so you can do it, this addition of new annotations and categories over the actual interface where the data is gathered. And another role in the system, you could call this person, the taxonomist, is the one who is deciding probably into which part of my controlled vocabulary these new topics or regions or persons and so on should be put into. Yeah, so that was the short video cast about Semantic Records Management based on PoolParty Semantic Suite and Blessing Confluence. Thank you and bye-bye.